A key step in the application process is, of course, selecting the universities you want to apply to. In order to do that requires introspection, requires you to look in and say, what is it that I'm looking to get out of university? It requires a focus on your career goals. What is it that I want to do after I leave university? And a lot of research. So how do you go about starting doing so? Well, first, just list out various criteria that you think may be important for you. Some people start off with a very small list and expand over time as they continue to do their research. For example, brand is often a very critical criteria in this list and one of the first criteria that people start with. While there are many other criteria that are also equally important, let's just dig into brand name for a moment. So why is brand important? People debate this back and forth. I believe that brand name is important because it can act as a signal of quality to potential colleagues, to potential employers, and to potential investors over a period of time. Hence, it's important not just to pick any strong brand, but a brand that associates you with the type of skill set, with the type of values that you want to project. And not every brand is the same. Just as you think of any consumer brand, Pepsi and Coke do not necessarily stand for the same thing. So what type of brand do you want to associate yourself with? So you need to dig deep and understand what that particular brand stands for. Secondly, if you want to be geographically mobile, for example, you want to return to your home country or you want an international career, you may want to consider a brand that's strong globally so that you can actually take that brand and leverage it no matter where you go. Thirdly, another aspect of a strong brand is if you're very clear on what your future career goals are, is to look at the strength of the brand in that specific function or department that you're really interested in. How strong is that brand in finance or in marketing or in economics, etc. Because it's not just the overall brand of the university that would be then important to you, but also the brand, the strength of the brand in that department. But let's look beyond brand, because sometimes I think that we focus just too much on brand and not everything else. What other kind of criteria are important? There are things like size, which may be very important if you're the type of person who thrives in a smaller university versus you're the kind of person who's going to thrive where there are tons of people around you. Universities in the US may range from a few thousand students to as big as 20, 30, 40,000 students. And you need to make sure that you're going to be comfortable in that environment. Location may be very important to you. Is it the type? It could be in terms of the type of weather. It could be whether it's an urban environment, a rural environment, a semi-urban environment. Again, you need to pick an environment that you're going to thrive in. Other areas that sometimes get neglected are the strength of the faculty, things like centers of excellence, research opportunities. People don't take that into account because they just do not understand the way that universities may function in different countries. It functions fairly different to the way it does in India. Or they just may not have enough information about it. So it helps to talk to as many people as possible to understand the type of criteria they used, how they weighted various universities on those criteria, and why their criteria and their weighting may not be the same for you. But it helps to understand other people's perspectives. So who can you talk to? You can talk to current students, you can talk to alumni, you can talk to faculty, you can talk to the admissions offices, and of course you can leverage the resources of your educational consultant, assuming you're working with one. However, we think it's really important at FutureWorks that you don't just get a list of potential universities that you should apply to. We believe in helping people first understand the type of criteria they should take into consideration, then give them the coaching and skills that they'll need to actually start weighting that criteria and doing the research amongst universities to actually start assessing those universities on that criteria. We believe the decision is ultimately yours, and we are your coach to help you through the process so that you don't miss any key steps and you don't miss the detail that you'll need to actually dig into to actually assess these universities. However, at the end of the day, it's your time at university and the choice is obviously ultimately yours. What you'll find often is that your list and your weighting and your assessment will change over time simply because you start to realize that there are certain criteria that are important that you didn't think were before. So there's nothing wrong if that happens. In fact, sometimes it's a good thing because it means that you're becoming more enlightened during the process and you're becoming actually clearer on your goals, not that you're getting more confused. So if your list is changing, the criteria is changing, your assessment is changing, that's not a problem. Make sure you give yourself enough time to actually make these decisions so that you can actually go through this entire process and you can help ask people for help as you do so.